I took the blame for my daughter's brain damage, and my kids disowned me. Now they know their father did it and want me back, but I'm not sure I can forgive them. When my youngest daughter was 15, she overdosed on pills my husband had been secretly giving her. She survived, but the brain damage left her different, slower. She'll never be who she was before. My husband was the one who'd been slipping her pills for months, but when we sat in that hospital room while our daughter was in a coma, he looked me dead in the eye and said if I told anyone the truth, he'd make sure I never saw any of our kids again. He had proof I'd been in therapy for depression. He had screenshots of texts where I'd said I couldn't handle being a mother some days. He had a lawyer cousin who owed him favors. I had nothing. So when the doctors asked questions and my other two kids demanded answers, I took the blame. All of it. I was the one who left pills out. I was the careless mother who didn't notice her daughter was struggling. My husband played the devastated father perfectly. He got to stay in our house with our two older kids while I moved into a studio apartment that smelled like cigarettes. My son was 17 and stopped coming to visit after the second weekend. My oldest daughter told me she hoped I'd live with the guilt forever. I just sat there and took it. She went on to get engaged, and I didn't find out until she was actually married, and my sister mentioned it. I found out my youngest had moved into a group home through a letter from her social worker, not from my husband, not from my kids. A stranger had to tell me where my brain-damaged daughter was living. I wanted to tell them everything. I had nightmares about showing up at my son's graduation with printouts of the text messages, where my husband asked his dealer to bring pills to the house, screenshots of Venmo payments with pill emojis, but he was always 3 steps ahead. He told the kids I was unstable, that I might make up stories. When my oldest daughter graduated from college, I sent a card with money. She mailed it back torn in half. That was the moment I realized I'd lost them completely. The isolation was suffocating. I'd drive past my old house and see my husband's car in the driveway, my son's truck parked on the street, my oldest daughter's car there for Sunday dinners. I'd spend holidays alone watching TV and wondering if my youngest daughter even remembered who I was anymore. 3 years after the overdose, I took every pill in my apartment. My landlord found me when I didn't respond to messages about a leak in my ceiling. They kept me in psychiatric care for 2 weeks. When I got out, my aunt picked me up, gave me a place to live and a job. I was 43 and starting from nothing. The first year was just survival. Work, therapy, sleep. I didn't date, didn't make friends, just existed. Then I met Adam. He'd lost his wife to cancer and understood what it meant to rebuild. We got married 4 years later in a courthouse with my aunt as our witness. Now I'm 56. Adam and I foster 2 siblings, a 10-year-old boy and 8-year-old girl. We're hoping to adopt them next year. I help the girl with homework every night. The boy and I make dinner together on Wednesdays. I finally understand what it feels like to be wanted. I told my aunt years ago not to mention my kids, but when my son got married, she let it slip, and I couldn't get out of bed for a week. After that, she knew to keep it separate. She died last year. I thought that was the end of any connection to my old life. Yesterday morning, my phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. I answered and heard, "Mom?" My oldest daughter's voice. I said, "I think you have the wrong number," and hung up. My whole body went cold. She called back 4 times. I turned my phone off and sat on the couch for 2 hours. Adam found me sitting there paralyzed. I told him everything. He held my hand while I shook. I called my cousin today. She told me my son and oldest daughter had been asking about me for months. Apparently, my youngest daughter's group home was cleaning out storage and found a box. My husband had kept all his text messages about buying pills, notes about dosages, everything. The staff contacted my kids and showed them. My oldest is 32 now. My son is 30. My youngest is 28 and still in that group home. They're strangers. I don't know their lives, their jobs, if I have grandchildren. My therapist wants me to hear them out, but all I can think about is those pills in my apartment, starting over with nothing. They want back in after I've finally built something stable. I don't know if I have the strength to risk this peace I barely managed to find.